Hi everyone, hope you're all keeping safe and well. I was asked to sort of make a video on purchasing either your first ukulele. You've heard about ukuleles, you might have seen and heard of some people playing ukulele, you want to give them a go yourself. That's the first step, get one. You'll never look back, you'll never regret it. And also by people who've maybe been playing for a while, maybe months or years, and thinking about, I've had the same ukulele, it's getting a bit tired, I'd like something different, what should I do, Graham? There's an immense amount of choice out there, an immense amount of different sizes and shapes, and it is very, very personal to yourself. It's not just about what you want to pay for an instrument, and they are musical instruments, they're not toys. If you see anything advertised that says a toy, avoid like the plague. It's not. It's any musical instrument, no matter what it costs, should be able to be played and should keep its tuning, and you should be able to sing and join in with that. So, but the first, what got me into ukuleles was I used to play guitar, and I'd gone on from a 6-string to a 12-string guitar in the folk scene, and then one year I think Ros was at 40 or something like that, my wife. And she saw in the music shop, she said, oh, that was before ukuleles really hit it big time. And she said there was a SpongeBob SquarePants like this. It was a novelty one, but it was, I think it might have been even being made by Mahola. I'm not being sponsored by any of these brands, this is just, so don't worry about that. So she bought it and I thought, oh, that's just brilliant, because I've got small hands and I used to find guitar was a nightmare sometimes with the chords, some of the chords, F chord and things, were horrible, where I thought, these are great. The ukulele are so easy, one of the simplest instruments to play, so when you've got one, it shouldn't take you long to learn some basic chords, C, G, D, and all the chords. Very, very easy, and it's a little strumming instrument. The Sopranos, the smallest ones, are very light and normally not too expensive, and if you can find something, I mean, the best advice I can say is if you've got a local music shop, please go into it and use it. The people there will be brilliant. They'll look at your hands and ask you lots of questions, and they'll try and match the best to match a uke to what you like the look of and what sounds nice, you like the sound of it, because everybody's personal that way on, and they'll do the best. But you'll get an instrument, you might pay a little bit more, but they'll set it up, which means they'll make sure it's got some good strings on it, and it'll also be set up, the action, what they call the action from the string to the fretboard isn't too high or too low, because if that's not right, you can get buzzes if it's too low, and you can get all sorts of problems with the sound if they're too high. So they'll set up that for you. Or because of this COVID crisis and you can't go into your stores, you could even go to a reputable dealer online. Look at any of your local music stores. Do they offer an online service? There's ones like Southern Ukulele Store. I spent far too many hours looking at theirs, and Dukes of Uke and other stores like that. They've got a whole range of instruments, a whole range of prices, and you can phone those guys up and they'll give you some good advice. And if you buy a uke from them, it will be always set up to how it should be. And you know, I think they do operate like a 30-day return. If you're not happy, a lot of these companies, reputable companies, will let you send it back and change it for something else possibly. But have a word with them. But yeah. But if you're having to buy online, you've got your Christmas money, you can't be bothered to do that, and you're just looking at Amazon, you see something and you want to get it. A little couple of tips: check out the reviews. Check out if you look at, oh, I like that ukulele, check out the reviews, the stars. It's got 1 or 2 stars. Ooh, get something with 4 or 5 stars in. So, and look at the comments. There'll be from lots of other people. Read as many reviews as you can. Is it good? What was good? What was bad? If it's a lot of stinky reviews, keep away from it. Always try and get one, even if it's cheap. Try and get one with Aquila strings. That's Aquila. And what they are is an Italian string, but they are good quality, because a lot of the cheap instruments come with cheap strings and you'll never get them in tune. Even the best instruments, if you buy a very good instrument, quite often you'll get them and it won't, the strings won't have settled. So you should always make sure that you have a tuner. If you haven't got a ukulele tuner, buy one, a clip-on tuner. Sometimes with some of these package deals from the likes of KMISE, I think it is, they do things with like straps, tuners and all sorts of bits and pieces in. And you need a tuner, because if your ukulele's out of tune, it'll sound awful. And the thing is, there are instructional videos how to use these, how to put your uke in tune, so I'm not going to go through that. But you can either get funny ones like this that'll make you smile, or you might get still a soprano but in natural woods, same sort of idea. Yeah, I'd go for these tuners type of just the normal tuners. You can get friction ped tuners, and the gear tuners are far better for especially for learners. The friction tuners that you see on a few instruments now, can be quite tricky unless you go for a very expensive instrument. But that's your sopranos. Up from that, the next size up in the family is the concert. You can see it's a bit bigger than the sopranos. It has a longer string length, bigger body here, which gives it a slightly different sound. And concerts give you a little bit more space. These are the frets, a little bit more space for your fingers sometimes, not always. So do check them out. But yeah. That's a concert size. And as I say, as you progress, if you've been playing for a while and you think about, I'd like to amplify mine up, you can buy electroacoustic ukuleles like this one. You pay quite a bit more for them, and they can have active amps, which is like this. They normally have a pickup under the saddle here, and you have an active system here where you can alter the volume controls, the tone controls here, and sometimes have a built-in tuner, which is brilliant if you can see a uke with that. But they do add weight on, and there's electrics in here, little output there for your jack towards your amp. But anything with electrics in has wires in, and if they get loose they can buzz, and it can be an awful thing. Your next size up from that, from your concert, is your tenor. Your tenor uke is that little bit bigger, and again you start having even more space. You'll see the space in between these frets is a bit big. So if you've got bigger fingers, bigger hands, and you find it hard to get your fingers into some of the chord positions, the tenor uke might be one for you. Tenor ukes, the soprano was the original size uke, and it was extremely popular, but as the years have gone by, in recent years the tenor's become the better size. And it doesn't have to have these cutaways, these are just for if you're playing up the fretboard, it lets your hand go up here. But you can have more traditional shaped ukuleles like that one. And you can, the strings are same, G, C, E, A, like on your soprano and concert. I've fitted a low G string on here. That's, instead of it being a high G re-entry string on the high G, it's got a low G string. So a lot of people do start on the tenors. These are still massively smaller than the guitar, so if you can play a guitar and your fingers are stretching for that, you'll have no problem with any size of ukulele. But that's a tenor ukulele, and again this one's solid wood, and by that it's just a single piece of wood that's cut front, back and sides. A lot of the cheap ones have laminate, they have very low cost woods, and they are put in sheets, so it keeps the costs down. But you know, there's pros and cons. You can look into solids versus laminates, but solids tend to be dearer. The other thing to look out for is the wood colour. I've got my soprano back. Dark mahogany, bright spalted maple. They tend to give, the darker the wood, it's sort of like softer, more mellow the sound. The lighter the wood, it tends to be a brighter, more attacking sort of sound. So again, if you go into your ukulele shop, you'll find one not only that you like the look of, that you like the sound of. It's very personal choice to yourself. But I give it some thought and see what you like. And also the strings that you have on can make a difference, you know. So that's another thing to think about that they'll give you some advice on. The final one in the family is the baritone. Now this is the tenor, you've come up to a baritone. What is the baritone? The baritone is, again, it's still significantly smaller than a guitar. But again, if you've got very large fingers, a lot of guys have very thick fingers, and they find even the tenors a struggle for just playing normal chords, then you can get these. These are normally strung differently. It's normally like the first 4 strings of a guitar. So from the top you've got the string of D, G, B and E, D, G, B, E, instead of G, C, E, A. So it sounds deeper. But if you're a guitarist and played guitar for years, then it's great to switch on to one of these, because your chord positions are very, very similar to your guitar positions, so it's a straightforward transition. But if you're a ukulele player that's been playing for years, think very carefully about moving on to one of these. Unless you get strings to string it G, C, E, A, which you can, then it's just like a big tenor uke, and you can just carry on as you normally do. But normally these will come with D, G, B, E tuning, and your chord positions where you've played that as C for years on your ukulele, maybe it's now a G, so it can be confusing. You can soon change, but these have got this lovely deep tone. So if you do learn a baritone in this tuning, you can still join your ukulele groups, etc. They'll love to have you in the group because it adds that low bassy sort of tone to it, and you'll fit in with the others and you'll enhance the group sound. Again, this one has got the it's an electroacoustic ukulele. It's even got a built-in tuner, so instead of having a clip-on tuner, it's got one built in. Some ukes have that. There's pros and cons to that. It's great because you don't have to look for your tuner all the time, so little things to look out for, but everything extra like that normally costs a bit more. A quick go through the bags. I showed you with a cheap ukulele you tend to either get no case, try and get a case if you can to keep it in, even if it's not got any pad and keep the dust off. Sometimes you can get these, still a soft case, carry this, but it's a padded case, got some pad and a bit of protection. But if you're paying quite a bit for your ukulele, and I'm talking, well, it's up to you, but you can get a case, a hard case like this to keep your ukulele, and these cost about £50-ish, give or take 10 or 20 pounds. So these will, if you've got an expensive uke, you want a hard case to keep it in. Brings me on to my final point. If you've got one of these little cheaper ukes, you can go out to the pub, you've got your friends round for a few beers, and you're having a bit of a laugh and a bit of a sing-song. Brilliant. Someone picks it up, hits somebody with it, or sits on it. It's not the end of the day. You get something that you thought, right, I've played for a while now, or whatever, and you've got yourself an expensive uke. This is about £350. Someone sits on it, someone gets it, starts bashing it. You're going to be more upset. So it's another thing to think about. Where will you be playing it? How clumsy I am. I'm a clumsy person. I've seen people sit on ukuleles and people pick them up and other people and start bashing them. So that's another thing that's not often spoke about. I think you could have this is why I think you can have so many. You can have a cheaper one. I tend to take my kit one if I'm going out and about, because this I've just made myself. Avoid kits unless you know you're an experienced woodworker or DIY specialist, because these come without any instructions. They're cheap and the strings are horrible and things, so try and keep away from kits. Get yourself a proper one. Go to a shop if you can. Let's do a brief resume. Go to a shop, visit a shop, try as many as you want. Talk to the staff, great. Talk to other people online, talk to the ukulele players. If you can't do that, visit online to a reputable dealer. There's plenty of them out there. If not, go to an online shop, maybe Amazon's that light. You've got to take a chance. You might get a good one, you might not. Read as many reviews as you can before making your choice, but have fun. When it comes through, you'll love it. Don't worry, the strings will take a while to settle down no matter what you buy, no matter how much you've paid. It'll take a while to settle down. Bear with it. Go online, there's lots of free tuition. My channel's got all sorts of stuff. If you want to ask any questions about anything that I haven't covered, and there's bound to be stacks of stuff. It's such a big topic. Put your comments below, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to know, and I'll try and help you as much as I possibly can. But remember, it is a personal choice, it is personal preference, but the main thing is, it's to have fun. Get your ukulele, and as George Harrison said, it can't help but put a smile on your face, and ukulele players are the nicest people in the world. Join a club, join a class, and have fun. Enjoy yourself. But I'm wishing you all the best for Christmas and the New Year. Take care. Love you all. Bye for now.